Good evening, everybody. Hi, it's Ross with the Center of Balance and Effective Communication. Tonight we're going to talk about three different things and tell a little bit of an allegory. But first, let's start out with the idea that we can never conclude that anything is more practical than a return to ourselves, our true natures, okay? Spinoza said that there is nothing more useful in a person than to know and return to their natural self. Sometimes when we're talking about change and people are wanting to grow and do all this stuff, it's real easy to get your energy pushed out onto a bunch of things that you want to be, could be, you see other people modeling, you want to mentor, you want to stretch. Tonight we're going to talk about the value of being strong right where you are, really digging in and identifying and learning to be vulnerable. And we talked in the last couple days about the power of really great questions and questioning well. Peter Block gave us some wonderful ideas, and we'll touch on those again just briefly. But to question internally as to what's really working for you and where you are today, it really helps you in order to sort out what's going to need to change and what needs to stay the same and work with my maximum strengths and parts like that in our lives. So, Spinoza was very right when he was talking about we need to know our own true nature, and then we have to honor that. You know, we all make ourselves our own spiritual being. We all create, because thoughts and our natures and our behaviors come from thin things first and work their way through into density. If you think about it, there's a thought. You have a thought, then you go out and you begin to act it out through your density. I want to get in shape. I want to do this and that. I want to be kind. It comes through it from the invisible first, from the finer nature of ideas. And we can do this for hours about what the numbers and the math of when illnesses show up and how long it takes for things to work through into your physical being. But that's not today. Today is just about the fact that simply from fine, thin thoughts and natures of equivalent energies in the world, we work through to densities. So let's talk a little bit about this. Friedrich Nietzsche said it's very important, and this is going to be one of these things that's hard to wrap your brain around. I mean, I read a lot of these guys, and when I'm okay until they say therefore. And they say therefore, they often lose me. Here's the therefore up front. The therefore is what I'm about to share with you and play with you is not linear. It's not linear. It's going to seem incredibly linear, and you're going to want to hold on to it and have positions and stuff, but it's not linear, okay? Friedrich Nietzsche said it's important to know how old you're and how and where your spirit lives. What is it doing? Okay? An idea is camels, dragons, and lions. A camel is a big kind of ornery beast. And in this allegory, the camel can carry a lot of things, and it has big feet, so it can walk a long way. It can hold water a long time. Well, there is a time in our spiritual development, whether it goes over multiple lives or in one life, we are supposed to carry a lot. And in the allegory, it means you're going to load on a lot of knowledge. A good camel, then, is one that has a lot of knowledge. It's big, it's strong, it's robust, it can go a long way, it can carry water further than anybody else, carry heavy loads, and it's a lot more vital than a scrawny, skinny camel who couldn't do those same things. So the camel's job is, in the spirit, to load on knowledge. And sometimes we kind of see that in little kids, you know. They go out the door and they kind of act like camels. You know, camels aren't all that friendly. They spit on you and they step on you and, you know, and they're ornery and they'll lie down, lean on you if they can't get a chance to. But they're incredibly valuable for what they do. They can carry a great deal of knowledge. That's the idea in this story from Friedrich Nietzsche, okay? So camels are really important and they're very vital. Now that camel, key point, is not running around attempting to be anything but a camel. It's just wanting to be the biggest, most powerful camel of all the other camels. So, one day, a bunch of dragons are flying around and they fly over and they grab the camel. Are they going to eat the little bony camels? No, they're going to eat the big, luscious, fat camels. And they grab the camels and they fly away with them and they take them back to their cave and they eat them. Okay? Now, even in this story, dragons are essentially kind of dumb. So the dragons fly over, grab the big camels, fly off with them. So the dragons now have all the knowledge because they've consumed it from something else. But dragons not being the smartest in the world, they have caves where they steal and protect and hide damsels. They have all the gold and treasure because they've taken it and won all these wars with their flying and their breathing fire. And they've brought it all back to their cave. You know what they know how to do with it? They don't know how to do anything with it. They're just totally programmed for acquisition. And dragons are scaly. So on every scale, it says, thou shalt, and thou shalt, and thou shalt, and thou shalt. Therefore, those people, that dragon knows all the rules and is inundated by the rules to the point where when it gets all the gold and all the damsels and all that, it doesn't know what to do with it. When it gets all the knowledge, it doesn't know what to do with it because it's paralyzed by the rules. We may know people, you may know people in your life that are just rule-oriented, yeah, but rule-oriented. And what do they ever break free for the goodness of their own nature, their own spiritual world, for the evolution coming from thinner to more dense? What do they really evolve? They're kind of stuck in a track, all right? So in one case, we had all the knowledge. That was gobbled up by something that's held fast by rules. And lastly comes the lions. And you know, in nature, it's actually a true fact that there's no series of animals that can deal with the pride of lions. So one day the dragons are out flying around, they go down to the watering hole and boom, the pride of lions eat them up. The pride of lions now have all the knowledge. They know so much about the rules because they've eaten all the scales and everything like that. But you know what? They know so much about it, they don't need to play by those rules. Whose rules do a pride of lions live by? Their own. And they have an amazing structure. They have families, they have children, they move when they want. Everyone on the savannas move when they move. If they come to the watering hole, everything adjusts to them. And it's because they know their own nature in a group. Now, it's real easy here to say, well, then obviously I want to be a lion. None of them got to be anything else by wanting to be anything else. They just were the biggest and most robust of what they were. That certainly was true of the camels, and it would certainly be true of the dragons also. Okay? They're being the best they can where they are. And then one day, poof, it evolves into something different. And that's so much. If they're just out there like, I want this and I want that, I want this and I want that. If you're one of those people who's a bit of a metaphysical voyeur and you're out there and you do a little of this and a little of that and a little of this and a little of that, you're not going to get the depth that's going to allow you to break through to the next level. Okay, now, again, going back, Nietsche said it's not linear. It's just focus where you are, stay where you are, completely honor it with all that you can be. Now, the other night we talked about Peter Block, and Peter Block says there are questions, and you'll know a great question when you write one. Well, I'm inviting you, when you begin to search within yourself and say, okay, am I a camel in this situation? Am I a lion in this situation? Am I a flying dragon in this situation? You're going to want to question that and say, is that in my highest and best good? Do I like that? What parts of these roles do I really want being that? Maybe there's parts I need to discard and build more energy into the strength of who I really am in my true nature. That's a key factor in finding yourself so you know where to start from. You know, I used to coach basketball, and so I'll metaphorically say, you didn't have the greatest centers in the world dribbling the ball down the middle of the floor. We said, go down underneath the basket, play great defense, and also score when we give you the ball down there. Everybody's working to benefit you. We let people work in their strengths, not just somewhere. Have people work in their strengths. This is a chance for you to learn to work in strengths for yourself. Now, one quick review again. A great question is ambiguous, meaning it doesn't have just one more knee-jerk, snap, right answer. There's a lot of possibility in the answer. The second thing is it's uniquely personal to you. It's personal. You figure it out. You expand it. If you were one of those other people, how would you feel about it if you were in those roles? Expand your thought about it. And lastly, a great question carries with it a great weight of personal responsibility. In other words, you're going to commit to it. You're not going to play oil on water with anything. You're going to go deeply within yourself, and you're going to wander around playing with these questions for days, maybe weeks, maybe months. Believe me, it's worth it. It's completely worth it to know your own true nature so you know what to keep, what to build as you begin to go forward in other things in your life. It's particularly important if a transition is near you. I'm about to retire. There's a change in my relationship. There's a change in my financial situation. I'm going to go from this school to another school. It's vitally important you know who and what you are and where you are in a given moment and what is causal in your life in that time. And this kind of questioning, ambiguous, personal, and has the weight of personal responsibility and accountability in it, those things are key for you right now. I'm Ross Cook with the Center of Balance and Effective Communication. Dick Weiss, good to see you on here. And Jenny, thank you so much. Send me your questions. Let me know at rosscookbalancing.com or rosscookbalancing@gmail.com. Either of them will work. And we'll chat back and forth. I believe in you. And how about today, tomorrow, and the next day? Do something slightly differently. And I will talk to you again soon. And until then, do it differently, and remember, Jomo.